Hey, what's up, guys? It's a Sports Blitz, and we are finally back with a mock draft for the 2024 NFL Draft. Guys, I have been away from recording for probably a good 5, 6 months now. I'll be honest, this football season made me not want to record at all. It was a rough football season. So, sorry I've been gone for a while, but I'm excited to get back into it, start these mock drafts up again, bring content out to you guys. Um, Now, if you guys haven't watched my channel before, guys, I don't claim to be a mock draft expert. Okay, I don't claim to know every little thing about every single player. I don't claim to know every single team's needs. So this isn't going to be a perfect mock draft. Okay, I know there's going to be stuff you disagree with. Um, yeah, just let me know in the comments down below what sort of stuff you guys disagree with. If you want your team to draft someone else, let me know. Let me know what you would do in those situations. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get on into it. We're gonna do a 2 round mock draft today. If there are times where we can do trades, I will. I haven't used PFF yet this year, so actually, okay, it looks like I have to have a subscription in order to do trades. So, no trades today, but that's okay. So Bears on the clock. They locked in the number one pick. Um, I'm gonna go ahead and where are the players? I don't. I guess just start. Okay. Wow, I'm stupid. Okay, so I'm gonna approach the Bears as if they're gonna build around Justin Fields. I think that's what they should do. I don't think they should go and get Caleb Williams. So I'm gonna go ahead and just have them take Marvin Harrison first overall. Now, if we were doing trades, I'd suggest maybe they trade down 1 or 2 spots, and try to still get Harrison. But it's not a bad pick for number one overall at all. Um, Now, number two, we're looking at Washington. Now, there's been times this season that Sam Howell has looked pretty solid, but he's also turned the ball over a lot. Like, a lot. And that's just not going to work. And honestly, I think Ron Rivera is going to be fired after the season. They're probably going to end up having a new coach. And in my opinion, I think that's a perfect time to get a new quarterback as well. So I'm going to go ahead and have the Commanders take Caleb Williams. That leaves the Patriots with the next best quarterback. I do think they should take a quarterback. I would say for me, it's between Drake May and Jaden Daniels from LSU. I'm gonna take Drake May just because he's been, kind of the bigger name guy for longer, has proven it for longer than Jaden Daniels. Number four, the Cardinals are on the clock, and I'm trying to think. I think I'm gonna go ahead and give them a wide receiver actually, cause I mean they've got a solid tight end. Their offensive line isn't great, but you know, it's not awful. I do think they need some receiver help. Um, if I'm not mistaken, I think Hollywood Brown is also a free agent this offseason. So if that's the case, I'm going to go ahead and go Malik Neighbors. I could also see them taking Rome Aduns. I could be pronouncing that wrong. I watch the tape. I don't listen to the player's name. So, but I think that'd be a good pick for Kyler Murray right there. Um, then we have the Giants on the clock, and honestly, I think they should go offensive line. I think this is a perfect chance to really shore up any part of that offensive line. I know they've got Andrew Thomas. He's solid. Evan Neal just hasn't been working out for them. He really hasn't. Has shown very little promise, in my opinion. And really, I don't think you could go wrong with either of these top two tackles. I'm a big fan of Joe Alt, but Fashanu has also come out and played really well. So I could see either one of them being a good pick. I'm going to go ahead and go with Fashanu right here. Sorry, guys. So then the Chargers are on the clock. Um, this is tough because the Chargers are probably going to have to move a lot of guys in free agency because they are in a really, really tough spot with their cap situation. Um, man, I don't know who to have them take. Um, I think they need some defensive help. I think their receivers are fine. I mean, they've got Keenan Allen. He had a really good year. He's got Mike Williams. Both of them are really good. They just have injuries, and I mean, Keenan Allen's getting a little bit old. Um, I don't know. For me, that Brock Bowers pick is really intriguing. And I know they have Gerald Everett, but he keeps getting hurt. I don't think he's been like a fully super reliable target. And I mean, Brock Bowers is just an insanely good tight end. I don't think you can go wrong with it. Um, so I'm going to go ahead and go Brock Bowers here. Then we have the Titans on the clock. I absolutely 1,000% think they need receiver help. So I'm going to have them take Rome Aduns. Again, don't know how to pronounce his name. But then the Jets are on the clock. And I think this is a position where they're just trying to help Aaron Rodgers as much as they can. I wouldn't be surprised if they really, really make a push for Devontae Adams this offseason. If that's the case, it's possible they might not even have their first round pick right here. Hard to say. Or they may even just swap it with the Raiders. But either way, anticipating that happens, I think right here the play should be tackle. So I'm going to have them take Joe Alt. Protect Aaron Rodgers. Don't let him get another bad injury, okay? Then for the Falcons, there's a couple things here I'd like to do. Because I think they could really benefit from having like a real edge rusher. In which case I really liked Light Leatu Latu. Gosh, it's a tongue twister. But I mean, Jaden Daniels is also real nice at quarterback. So it's a matter of, do you want to roll with Desmond Ridder for another year, or do you want to go out and get Jaden Daniels and, you know, let him grow? I think it's tough because Arthur Smith is expected to stick around next year, and in a year that he's on the hot seat, I don't know if they'd draft a quarterback that year, you know? I could see them maybe doing something more like going and trading for a guy like... Honestly, if the Broncos cut Russell Wilson, they could do that. Go and get him. Or they could maybe try to make a trade for Justin Fields if the Bears were to trade him instead. I don't know. It's hard to say for the Falcons. Honestly, I think their quarterback is really holding them back, and I just don't know how you pass on a quarterback again. So I'm going to go Jaden Daniels. Bears on the clock again. I think we're going to give Montez Sweat some real help there and give them Leatu Latu. Him and Montez Sweat would be a nasty duo right there, and that's going to make their defense really freaking good. Bears, or sorry, Raiders are on the clock now. And I think at this point, any sort of quarterback would be a reach. So, looking at the situation, I would probably go defensive interior or edge. I mean, obviously they've got Max Crosby, but I can't really think of who else they. Or wait, no. They drafted Tyree Wilson last year, so probably not edge, but defensive interior maybe corner. I think I'm kind of torn between Jerzon Newton and Kool Aid McKinstry. I think either one of them would be a great pick for the Raiders right now. I think I'm going to go Jerzon Newton. Then we have the Vikings on the clock, and same sort of situation. It's just too early for the next quarterback. I mean, Bo Nix is a little bit older, and he's not amazing in my opinion. Um, I like Penix. I wouldn't take him this early. Probably more like the end of round one, maybe even into round two. So I don't love him that early. I think. Honestly, I could see them potentially trading Danielle Hunter this offseason, in which case they'd be in a perfect position to get Chop Robinson. But it's also hard to make assumptions, you know? You can't draft this early based off assumptions. Um, Honestly, with that in mind, I think I'm going to go ahead and take Kool Aid McKinstry. I think he'd be a good addition to that defense. The Saints. Now, last year they took Brian Brzee on the interior, and then they took. I'm trying to remember. He was an edge rusher. I don't remember his name, but I mean, maybe give those guys some time to develop. But on the other hand, with that, I mean, who knows? Freaking Cam Jordan is getting a little old, and who knows how much longer he's gonna stick around. Um, Man, I don't know who to have him take. I think. You know what? We're gonna give them Chop Robinson, best player on the board, and I mean Cam Jordan's just getting old. We don't know how much longer he's gonna be there. He's not the player he used to be. I know they drafted an edge rusher last year, but why not let all these guys develop and have a good pass rush for years? You know, I don't think it's excuse me. I don't think it's ever a bad idea to draft a good pass rusher high. So, Broncos on the clock. This is another situation that's like, are they going to cut Russell Wilson or are they not? It sounds like they are, but we don't know. It's just assumptions at this point, you know? So it's hard to say. They also could use some edge help. I I I think I'm gonna go Jared Verse. I'll be honest, I really like some of these PFF rankings. I think position wise, they've got them in a pretty solid order. Um, and that's a rare thing for me to say about PFF. But Seahawks on the board, I do agree they need interior help. I feel like they have a fairly solid pass rush. Um, yeah, interior O line's really like the only thing they really need. Because even on the interior, they have Leonard Williams. They don't need receivers. They don't need quarterback. I don't think they need tight end. Their corners are fine. You could argue maybe safety. Running backs are fine. So let's look at interior line. Let's look at safeties. And then their linebackers aren't bad. But I don't know. We can at least look at them. Yeah, man, there's really not a lot of great players available this high up. That's a tough situation for the Seahawks. They might just have to go best player available. I mean, which I don't think is Nate Wiggins right here. What do you guys think? You think maybe they should take a tackle and move, not Charles Cross, but the other tackle. I'm trying to remember his name. He's also like a second or third year player. Maybe move him to guard so they feel that need, and then they can get like, I prefer J.C. Latham over Fuaga. I don't know that I agree that they necessarily need edge. I mean, again, it's not a horrible idea to have a good edge rusher drafted this high. You know what? I think let's go Braylon Trice. I am a big fan of him. I think at this point, he's probably the best player on the board. So, then the Bengals are on the clock, and I do agree they need a tackle. They need to protect their quarterback better. Like I just said, I like J.C. Latham more than Fuaga, so going him. Then we have the Cardinals on the clock, and who did I take? Malik Neighbors earlier. Okay. So, I'll be honest, I think they need some edge help. I really do. But I mean, that would also make 4 out of the last 5 picks edge rushers. I mean, so if they want an edge rusher, it's Dallas Turner or nobody, you know? Um, but you know what? I could also see them taking Fuaga for the left side. Last year they got Paris Johnson on the right side, and I can't think of who their left tackle is right now. I think let's do that. Let's protect Kyler Murray, give him the absolute best chance possible to succeed. Steelers on the clock, and they need interior O-line. Also linebacker and DB. We just checked, guys. There's no real great linebackers available right now. So that's kind of tough. I think... Some of these teams are in situations that's like, man, you gotta trade back. Like, you have to. I think their corners are probably gonna be okay. I know Patrick Peterson's getting old, but then beyond that, they still have Levi Wallace and Joey Porter Jr., who's crushing it. They also have the kid, Corey Trice. I really like him. He's just kind of injury prone. But, I mean, considering the board, Nate Wiggins is probably the best player available. They're already stacked at edge. They don't need a receiver. I think let's go Nate Wiggins. Just considering how the board is right now. Packers on the clock, and I feel like they've got a pretty good O-line. I don't think they really need an O-lineman right here. I don't think they need a running back either. I do kind of agree with defensive interior. I mean, they're a solid run-stopping team. Not great, but solid. I do like Leonard Taylor there a lot, though. Their young wide receivers are playing really well right now, too. So, I mean, at the beginning of last year, I would have expected that this year they'd need some receiver help. No, their young receivers have been amazing. So, I can't go receiver there. I think we go ahead and go Leonard Taylor. Let's go Leonard Taylor here. Also, guys, I apologize if you hear any like background music. My roommate is out there playing Guitar Hero, so I'm sorry if you can hear that like coming through on the mic. Bucks on the board, and personally, I think they need some corner help. That's kind of what they're lacking, in my opinion. And there's really no real running backs that you could really take in the first round right here. So, yeah, I'm going to go. Honestly, I'd prefer Terrion Arnold over Cooper DeJean. Colts on the board. If you ask me, I personally think they need some edge help. Yeah, I really do. I think let's go Dallas Turner. Jags on the clock. They could use some interior O-line help, but as we saw before, there's just not many good players available on the interior. I think their wide receivers are probably okay. Because, I mean, Calvin Ridley's had a down year, but he's not bad. Christian Kirk is good. They've got Evan Ingram. They've got Zay Jones, who's still solid. I'm trying to think who their corners are. I know they've got Tyson Campbell. I actually don't know who their other corner is. I've got to hurry and check that. I can't remember who their other corner is. Darius Williams and Trey Herndon. I think that's probably enough to draft a new corner with. I like Tyson Campbell. He's a really good player. But the other two are not that great. Yeah, I think we're going to go Cooper DeJean right here. Rams are on the clock, and it's questions around their quarterback situation. Do they try and develop Stetson Bennett? Because I feel like he played okay in the preseason. I don't know, it was long enough ago that I don't remember exactly, but I feel like I remember that he played okay. Their O-line is pretty good, actually. They could maybe take a tackle. I think they're fine at wide receiver. I am kind of intrigued by JT Twimalu. Yeah, Yeah, we're gonna go with him. Bills on the clock, and I want to say Gabe Davis is a free agent. I don't know what their cap situation is like though. I don't know if they're gonna try to re-sign him. Um, Stephon Diggs has had a down year. I mean, not a bad year, but down for him. I know they also have Khalil Shakir. I like their interior O line, but I honestly don't know how their tackles are. I feel like the Bills don't really have a whole lot of needs, to be honest. I'd say probably Amarius Mims right here. Get some tackle help. Either that or go receiver. Because, I mean, again, I really don't think the Bills have a lot of needs. I really don't. But Chiefs on the clock, they 1,000% need wide receiver help. Um, there's a few guys here that I really like. I'll be honest, I'm not crazy about Devontae Walker. I, I, I mean, he's good, but he's not crazy. Brian Thomas is good. Troy Franklin, I really like. Lad McConkey, I really like. Emeka Egbuka, I really like. Keon Coleman. There's some good receivers here. There are some really good receivers. Um, I feel like Chiefs have enough of like the smaller, fast guys that can, you know, get downfield and make plays. I feel like they need someone that can make contested catches too. Maybe run some better routes. Really, with that in mind, I kind of lean Xavier Legette. Because he's big, can make those contested catches. But as far as route running goes, I lean Emeka Egbuka. Keon Coleman is a pretty solid mixture of both. So is Adonai Mitchell. I think it's a matter of just which one the Chiefs want. Personally, I feel like Emeka Egbuka would be a really good fit for the Chiefs. I really do. I think he'd be a great fit for the Chiefs. So I think that's what we're going to do. Give them Emeka Egbuka. For the Eagles, we're going to give them... I'll be honest, James Bradbury has been hot garbage this year. Darius Slay is getting older, has had some injuries. I think we 1,000% need to look at corner. I really do. Um, I would say... probably Kamari Lassiter is probably the best corner available right here. Yeah, let's go with him. Then we have the Lions on the clock. The only one of these needs I really agree with is an interior D line and maybe corner. I'll be honest, I think they have Shedeur Sanders way too high on here. I could see maybe edge as well. I know they've got Aiden Hutchinson, but I can't think of who's on the other side right now. Receivers are totally fine. They've got some real good receivers. You know, do we just go best corner available in Rakestraw? Or do we go Chris Braswell? I think we go Rakestraw. So then Texans, it says their biggest need is wide receiver. I would probably disagree with that because Tank Dell has had a crazy good season. Nico Collins has had a really good season. Honestly, Noah Brown has been pretty solid. Um, I mean, looking at these guys, I'll be honest, giving them a real solid, really good safety like Cameron Kitchens, I kind of like that. I kind of like that. I think we're going to give them Cameron Kitchens. Uh, Dolphins on the board. They definitely don't need a receiver. They've got plenty of good receivers. They could use some O line help. Um, I kind of like Graham Barton to them actually. Troy Fautanu would be solid as well. Where Bradley Chubb tore his ACL, they may need some edge help as well. I mean, that's a hard injury to really come back from and be that effective. I don't know, though. I really like Graham Barton to them. Tua needs more protection. I think we're going to do that. Graham Barton. Um, Cowboys on the board, and I don't know. You can call me crazy for this, but I think outside of CeeDee Lamb, I think the receivers are kind of mid. I mean, Michael Gallup is solid, but I don't think he's anything special. Brandon Cooks is still playing at a pretty solid level, but I don't think he's that, like, crazy good guy anymore. And he is getting old. I kind of digging the idea of either Devontae Walker or Brian Thomas there. I feel like Devontae Walker would be a good fit with the Cowboys. I think I'm going to do that. Let's do it. Niners on the board. Um, I wish I knew what was going on with the Brandon Ayuk situation because I keep hearing back and forth that Ayuk is a free agent, and then I keep hearing, no, he's not. It's next year, or they extended him, or I don't know. I don't know exactly what's going on with the Ayuk situation. Um, so that kind of plays a part in really if they need a receiver or not. Um, I mean, other than that, I don't really see any like huge needs. I do agree they could use a corner, maybe Quinion Mitchell. Yeah, maybe Quinion Mitchell. Let's do that. Ravens. Now Ravens are a tough situation as well because they took Zay Flowers last year, and he's been really really good. They also have Odell Beckham Jr. and Rashad Bateman. Rashad Bateman's been solid, nothing special in my opinion. And Odell Beckham Jr. is good, but has still had some injury concerns, and right now he's playing well, but he's kind of getting up there in age as well. I mean, might not be a bad idea to get another really good receiver alongside Zay Flowers. Personally, I really like the idea of Lamar throwing to Keon Coleman. I think that'd be amazing. So we're gonna do that. Entering the second round, I think the Panthers 1,000% need receiver help. They also need some tackle help, some interior line help, some coach help, some owner help. they just need help. But let's be honest. If you want to build back Bryce Young's confidence, you got to give him a good receiver, and I think Troy Franklin is exactly that. So, Commanders are on the board, and I think we're gonna give them Troy Fautanu, give them some tackle help. And guys, I'm gonna try to rush through the second round a little bit more. I know we've already been going for quite a while, so try to make this one a little bit quicker. Sorry if this one's kind of sloppy. I do like Brian Thomas there. To the Cardinals, we'll go ahead and give them. Who were their picks earlier? I gotta hurry and check that. Tackle and receiver. Okay. So maybe help the defense now in getting Chris Braswell. Get some edge help. I like it. Giants, honestly, I like Adonai Mitchell. I think that would be a really solid pick for them. Chargers on the board, I think they could use some real defensive help. I can't remember who their safety is on the other side of Derwin James. Which Derwin James has had some injury concerns anyways. Honestly, Nubin's probably the best defensive player available on the board, so we're going to go him. Titans on the clock. I want to say they went receiver earlier on, but honestly, I don't think it's necessarily a bad idea to double up. I could also see them taking a tackle because, improve the O line. Stop letting your quarterbacks get hurt. Yeah, you know what? Let's go Jordan Morgan. I actually really like him. I think he's a good fit for the Titans as well. Packers on the board, and didn't we go defensive interior earlier? Yes, we got Leonard Taylor. So you know what? Let's get some O-line depth and go. I think we go Patrick Paul. Falcons on the board now. Honestly, this is like kind of a bad situation for them because they already took Jaden Daniels, but Bo Nix and Michael Penix are still on the board, so that's kind of rough for them. And there's really no real amazing edge rushers on the board. Jonah Ellis is actually really good. In fact, that actually might be the pick. I didn't even see that he was still on the board. You know what? Yeah, let's go Jonah Ellis. He's really good. Commanders on the board, which they've taken a tackle and a quarterback. So, honestly, given the board, I think Kalen King is probably the pick. Because I really like Kalen King. I like him more than TJ Tampa up there. I think he's a real solid player. Raiders on the board. I gotta hurry and check who I went with earlier. So I went defensive interior earlier. Honestly, given their situation, this is like dream situation for them. I would go Michael Penix. I'd go Michael Penix. And then the Vikings take the last, in my opinion, quarterback that deserves to be drafted high in Bo Nix. Eagles on the board, and you know what? Well, I like Ladd McConkey, and I know that he went to Georgia, and Eagles like their Georgia players, but I'm a big fan of literally both of these other receivers, too. Xavier Legette. Well, Xavier Legette is basically an A.J. Brown clone. You know? So, do you want another situation like that, or do you want a real route runner? I think this is all up to what they want, because there's players available. I just don't know exactly what type of receiver they'd want because Xavier Legette is more A.J. Brownish, while Devontae Smith is more, you know, really fast, good at getting open, good hands sort of thing. Lad McConkey is a really solid route runner, pretty shifty. Um, Not like absolutely burn you type of speed, but he's quick, and like I said, he's a good route runner. I think let's go Lad McConkey. Let's have um that like different type of skills in the receiver room. Saints on the board, and I think honestly, I know I just said Shedeur Sanders is ranked too high, but given the board and given that they do need quarterback help, actually I like Quinn Ewers more than um, more than Sanders. I like him quite a bit more. Are there any others? I like him more than McCarthy as well. And Rattler. Yeah. I think we go Quinn Ewers for the Saints. Gosh, sorry, I was looking at the Texas logo and reading Texas, so I was trying to say Texans. Yeah, my bad. Um, yeah, Giants on the board. I think obviously they stick with Daniel Jones. I think this time let's go linebacker. Let's give them Edgerrin Cooper. Bengals need a tight end. Perfect position for Jatavion Sanders. I love that. Match made in heaven. Right here, dude, CJ Stroud throwing to Xavier Legette. I love that. I love that. Steelers on the board. Who did they get earlier? Sorry, they got Nate Wiggins at corner. So, do they draft a backup plan for Kenny Pickett or Mason Rudolph? Or do they go somewhere else? Because they got a corner earlier. I don't think they need receiver help. I don't think they should get another corner right here. Their full D line is pretty solid. Their tight ends are solid. Their safeties are solid. They don't need a running back. And at this point, Trotter is just too big of a reach. Maybe, that's the pick. Jackson Powers Johnson. Yep. 1,000%. Definitely need interior O-line help. And that's a good pick. Okay, Packers on the board. Who was their second round pick earlier? Patrick Paul. So they've gone interior D-line and tackle so far. Who are their safeties? I know they have Darnell Savage. Sorry, I gotta hurry and check who they have at safety. Jonathan Owens. I'll be honest, I don't really know a whole lot about him. I don't know really how good or bad he is. I think this is a pretty solid spot to get Kalen Bullock. Bucks on the board. And I would assume Mike Evans is probably coming back to Tampa, but we don't know that for sure. So assuming he doesn't, I think Xavier Worthy would be a really, really good pick for them. Colts on the board, and we're going to go with corner TJ Tampa. Jags on the board, we're going to give them... Ooh, I like Chris Jenkins to the Jags. I think that's a really good pick. Rams on the board. I think we give them Denzel Burke. I really like Denzel Burke. Bills on the clock, and I think we give them Josh Newton. I think that's a solid pick. Honestly, Chiefs, you're doubling up on wide receiver. Like, I'm not even sorry. I'm not even sorry. Jermaine Burton, you're doubling up on receiver. No ands, ifs, or buts about it. Um, Eagles on the clock, and let's get them some tight end help. I know they've got Dallas Goddard, but I feel like he's always injured. And look, you cannot go wrong with Iowa tight ends. You just can't. Like, Iowa tight ends are just built different, you know? Get Jalen Hurts some more tight end help. I think it's a great idea. Um, Lions on the clock, and I think we're going to go. Look, I got to hurry and check who I gave them earlier. Oh, okay, I gave them a corner earlier. So in that case, we're going to go Brandon Dorless. No. Makai Wingo. Makai Wingo. I am a big fan of that guy. Kind of surprised he even fell this far. Browns, we're going to get some wide receiver help. We'll give them Jalen Polk. Or actually, let me check what other receivers are on the board. Yeah. Yeah, we'll give them Jalen Polk. Dolphins on the board. We gave them a tackle earlier. So, ooh, Tavondre Tavondre Sweat. I knew how to pronounce it, just it wasn't coming out right, you know. Cowboys on the board, and I'll be honest, okay? Don't get mad at me, Cowboys fans. Cowboys need a two running back system. It's not working with just why am I forgetting his name? Sorry, his name slipped my mind. But you guys know who I'm talking about. The Cowboys running back. It's not working with just him. They need a second running back, like they did with Ezekiel Elliott before, you know? They need that second guy. I think Jonathan Brooks is a perfect player to take right here. 49ers on the clock. I think we're going to go ahead and give them tackle Tyler Guyton. And then Ravens. Who did I take earlier? Keon Coleman. Okay. Because I'll be honest, I was kind of staring at Brandon Rice right here. That'd be a pretty nasty receiving core. But also, Brandon Dorless is right here. So is Rod Moore, but you don't really need safeties that bad. Yeah, you know what? Let's go Brandon Dorless right here. So, kind of curious what they graded the draft and everything. Okay, apparently I have to subscribe to get it graded, so I'll have you guys in the comments grade this mock draft instead. Let me know what you think of it in the comments section below. Again, guys, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. It's good to be back. Definitely looking forward to making more content for you guys coming soon. But yeah, I'll see you next time. Later.